Who would win 1,000 Unsullied or 1,000 Knights of the Vale on a neutral battlefield? In this video, I'm going to break down their training, equipment, tactics, their culture, and more, and then simulate a lore accurate outcome. Let's dive right in. So, starting us off with the Unsullied. Their origin was in Astapor, Slaver's Bay, and Essos. Their allegiance was to Daenerys, and in this scenario, they're going to have 1,000 infantry men. The Unsullied are eunuch slave soldiers trained from the age of 5 through brutal methods designed to strip away all fear and individuality. Their training involves extreme physical endurance, emotional detachment, and automatic obedience. By the time they are fully trained, the Unsullied are immune to pain. They don't break formation and would rather die than retreat. They are famous for their iron discipline. They don't loot, rape, or stray from orders, traits that are rare in Westerosi armies. Jorah Mormont famously quoted, "They are not men, they are machines of war." So their equipment and tactics, their primary weapons would be short spears and shields. Their armor would be light bronze or leather armor designed for flexibility and speed in formations. Their fighting style would be tight shield wall formations, very defensive, mobile, and unyielding. Their battle formation, where cohesion would be everything. The Unsullied fight as a unit and not as individuals. Their strengths. The strengths are they have unshakable morale, perfect discipline, they're trained to fight together in synchronization, and they're highly effective in sieges and urban combat. However, they do have some weaknesses, which are a lack of cavalry, minimal armor, vulnerable in open cavalry charges. They are less versatile outside from formation, and they're emotionless, which means they can lack adaptability. On the other hand, we have the Knights of the Vale. They originate from the Vale of Arryn, sworn to House Arryn, and in this scenario, there's 1,000 heavy cavalry knights. Their training, they're drawn from the noble and marital bloodlines of the Vale, raised with the values of honor, combat, prowess, and loyalty. These knights are generally highborn, trained from youth as squires in the art of jousting, riding, and swordplay. The Vale's mountainous geography has forged a people hardened by the land. The knights are particularly respected throughout Westeros for their skill in mounted combat, their well-kept armor and weapons, and their pride in knighthood. Yon Royce quoted them, "The Knights of the Vale are second to none, disciplined, proud, and heavily armored." Their primary weapons would be lances for charge and long swords for melee. Their armor would be full plate armor, war horses for barding, and their fighting style would be shock cavalry, fast, powerful charges aimed at breaking enemy lines. Their strengths include devastating cavalry charge, superior armor and individual skill, excellent terrain awareness and cavalry maneuvers, and high morale and strong knightly code. Their weaknesses are they're little reliant on the initial charge impact, vulnerable to terrain that hampers horses, and potentially less cohesive if the battle becomes prolonged and they can be overconfident or constrained by honor. So, in this hypothetical battle, to make sure that's fair, we're going to place the battle on open plains, neutral, flat terrain like the Reach or the Dothraki Sea equivalent. No terrain advantage. The weather's mild, and no commanders from outside forces like Jon Snow and Daenerys or anybody else, and no dragons, magic, or siege equipment. So there's 1,000 unsullied infantry in a full shield wall formation, and 1,000 Knights of the Vale on armored war horses in standard charge formation. Here we go. Opening moves. The Unsullied, aware of the approaching cavalry, tighten their ranks into a phalanx formation, locking shields and lowering spears, a tactic not too different to the Macedonian or Roman testudo. The Knights of the Vale form lines or wedges and begin the charge. At full gallop, the thunder of the hoods would shake the ground, which is a little bit of a psychological weapon. The initial clash, the first charge would be devastating. The sheer momentum of 1,000 armored horses crashing into a shield wall would splinter the front lines. Dozens of Unsullied would die on impact. However, the Unsullied are trained for this. They don't break ranks. The spears find gaps in armor, horses are wounded or fall, and the second and third rows press forward, unlike most foot soldiers, unsullied but not rout. Mid battle, the Vale Knights, having lost some of their momentum and horses, now face intense close quarters combat. This is where the Unsullied shine. Tightly packed, mechanically efficient, and relentless. Knights dismounted or separated from the charge would be at a distinct disadvantage, despite superior armor. Their long swords, designed for duels or horseback combat, are less effective against a wall of spears and shields. After several charges and dwindling numbers, the Vale Knights are forced into a prolonged melee. The Unsullied hold formation and grind down the enemy. By now, their discipline outweighs the fading energy and scattered formation of the Knights. So who wins? The Unsullied, albeit very narrowly. While the Knights of the Vale have the advantage in armor, impact, and prestige, they are outmatched in discipline, formation fighting, and endurance on this particular battlefield. The first charge would cause a heavy Unsullied casualties, possibly even hundreds, but unless the Knights can break the formation entirely, and without support from archers or infantry, they will become bogged down in a fight that favors the Unsullied. The Unsullied has unwavering cohesion and refusal to rout, being a huge key factor in their victory, and most Westerosi infantry would break under this pressure, but the Unsullied would not. In a lore accurate, unit for unit battle on flat ground, the Unsullied would outlast and wear down the Knights of the Vale. However, there are alternate outcomes. If there was a rough, narrow mountain pass, the Unsullied would win easily because horses are ineffective. In open fields with ranged support, the Vale Knights win because archers would soften the enemy, multiple charges would become lethal, and in urban or siege warfare, the Unsullied dominate. Their discipline and close quarter skill is outmatched. This hypothetical battle highlights the fascinating contrasts in the military culture between Essos and Westeros. The Vale Knights represent honor, charge-based warfare, while the Unsullied represent unfeeling efficiency, defensive formation, and strategic obedience. In the end, victory doesn't always go to the strongest. Sometimes it goes to those who never break. There you go. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe button for more.